showing and performing at the Big Meech party. Yeah, I'm performing. I gave Big Meech my word, that I was gonna perform, and I give a man my word, that's my word. I don't know what's going on, I can't just pull away from not performing over something, they got going on with him and 50 and all this going on.
Listen up. Just when it seemed like the feud between 50 Cent and Big Meech couldn't get any wilder, 50 just flipped the switch and turned the petty all the way up. Now he's dragging Boosie into the mess, blasting him for betrayal, and the streets are buzzing because people are labeling Boosie a snitch right along with Big Meech. But what really went down, and why is 50 putting Boosie on full blast? Grab your popcorn, this one's messy. So here's the deal. 50 Cent officially marked Boosie as an op after old clips started floating around of Boosie bragging about performing at Big Meech's Welcome Back concert. But that wasn't even the wildest part. More footage showed Boosie throwing shade at 50, saying straight up that if he were Lil Meech, he would have told 50 to F off. You already know 50 wasn't about to let that slide. And just like that, Boosie landed himself on 50's hit list, the same way Rick Ross once did. The problem? 50 doesn't play fair in beef. When he feels crossed, he takes pettiness to levels nobody else can match. He'll cut people off and clown them publicly without even blinking, firing shots at Boosie from every angle while still doubling down on his claims that Big Meech is a rat. And trust me, 50 looks locked in. He's not letting this one die down anytime soon. For years, Boosie has built his whole rep on standing firm against anyone he thought was a snitch. Just look back at how he went after Rollo. He never bit his tongue. So when the Big Meech drama came around, everybody expected Boosie to keep that same raw energy. But instead, he shocked folks by defending Meech, saying he hadn't seen a single piece of paperwork proving Meech snitched on anybody. That move had people staring at him sideways, and honestly, it made Charleston White look spot on with his old claims. Let's not forget, the last time Boosie even hinted that I might have been an informant, he scrapped their entire joint album overnight. He made it clear back then, he didn't care who you were, if snitching was attached to your name, he wasn't rocking with you. But now, fans are starting to wonder if all that tough talk was only for certain people and not for others. Boosie tried to clean it up quick, though. He denied rumors about being paid off to perform at Big Meech's concert. In his own words, he clapped back, "No, I'm not doing no show for free. Y'all think I would charge somebody who just came home? Y'all think I'm heartless."
He got spoke out and said he not boycott. He said he gave his word to 50. He's going to show up.
Yeah. I saw that. They pick and choose. Not that I'm saying, Meech is a snitch or anything like that. But man, they pick and choose who they want to put the snitch jacket on and who they want it to apply to. So that's why I say, man, all that.
But whether he was being real or just saving face, 50 Cent and his followers weren't buying a single word. Soon enough, folks were accusing Boosie of playing favorites with who he called out and who he let slide. And if you've been following the 50 versus Big Meech saga, then you know 50 has been on Meech's neck for weeks now. He even took to Instagram with a now-deleted post that had social media going crazy. He dropped a picture of a giant rat with the caption, "I think I'm Big Meech." That line hit hard, not just at Meech, but also at Rick Ross, since it came straight from Ross's BMF anthem. And if that wasn't enough shade, 50 doubled down writing. "The biggest mistake I ever made was sustaining this relationship with Tanisha Welch. Her tell-all docuseries reveals the truth." That one post sent fans into overdrive asking the same question. What bombshells are hiding inside that docuseries? And what dirt does 50 really know about Big Meech? To turn up the suspense even more, 50 leaked a snippet of a phone call with Tanisha Cohen, where she sounded like she was this close to spilling it all. The drama was getting way too real. Part of the reason folks were so shocked by 50 Cent's accusations is because when Big Meech first touched down from prison, pictures of him and 50 all smiles together went viral like they were tight. But out of nowhere, everything flipped this past February when 50 suddenly turned his fire on Meech online, and that's when things got messy. Now let's rewind. Meech was sentenced back in 2008 to 30 years behind bars, but somehow he managed to walk free in just 18. Let's be honest, that raised plenty of eyebrows in the streets, and that's exactly where the whispers started. To someone like 50 Cent, the whole thing felt shady, too shady to ignore. But here's the twist. This wasn't just 50 speculating. There were rumors piling up from every corner. Word is that Tanisha Welch, one of Meech's longtime associates, had flipped after he got locked up and started working as an FBI informant. And the wildest part? Meech himself had sold her the full rights to his life story, meaning while he sat in prison, she had total control over everything tied to BMF. That's power, and it made the streets start asking real questions. But it doesn't stop there. The rabbit hole goes deeper. According to WAC 100, Meech was allegedly feeding Tanisha info straight from inside the prison walls. What he was hearing, who was talking, all of it. And she was funneling that information right back to the FBI. And that exchange? That's what some believe got him that early release. Now here's where things get extra spicy. Tanisha wasn't just a random business partner. She was also 50 Cent's co-producer on the BMF TV series, the one starring Lil Meech playing his father. And to top it off, Tanisha and Big Meech go way back to 2007, when their partnership was already raising eyebrows.
I wasn't going to address this, because I'm not trying to let nobody trick me off the streets. But I never folded, never told, never will. Death before dishonor, always with me. So I'm doing this for my loved ones and the support of my friends and family to come out to the Amarant Arena, February 13th.
People close to the situation swear their bond wasn't just business. It might have been personal too. In other words, the lines between power, loyalty, and romance got dangerously blurred. Back in 2014, while Big Meech was still locked up on drug charges, Tanisha wasn't shy about letting the world know how deep their bond was. She publicly called Meech her best friend and even told the media, "I could tell you this has been one of the best experiences in my life to have him as my best friend." That kind of loyalty had people convinced she would ride for him forever. So when a woman who's been holding you down for years suddenly flips after praising you as her bestie, you already know something went seriously wrong. And according to 50 Cent, Meech's biggest downfall was cutting Tanisha off because now she's allegedly gearing up to spill everything in a tell-all series. And here's the kicker, 50 himself is producing it. That's the kind of plot twist straight out of a movie. To rub salt in the wound, 50 went back to Instagram with another petty stunt. He posted a clip of a man confessing to being a snitch, except he had Meech's head photoshopped onto the body. Savage, but the message was clear. 50 wanted the world to see Meech as the rat. And if you thought that was the end of it, think again, because this story only got nastier. Word on the street is Tanisha turned on Meech for one of two reasons. Either he was trying to snatch back the rights to his life story after she risked everything running his empire while he was behind bars, or she felt tossed aside after dedicating years to him. Either way, if Meech really was talking while in prison, the last person he should have slipped up around was Tanisha, because she knew everything. And the crazy part? This is the same woman who had worked for years to make sure Meech would eventually walk out of prison and step back into a world ready for him. While all the chaos was unfolding, Big Meech wasn't just sitting back letting the internet drag his name through the mud. He came out swinging, denying every accusation and claiming the only reason he got out early was because of a change in the law, not because he snitched on anybody. But that explanation didn't sit right with a lot of people. Why? Because back in 2021, a judge had already shaved 3 years off his sentence, citing good behavior and the First Step Act. And let's keep it real. There's a massive difference between losing 3 years and somehow cutting off a whole 12 years from a 30-year bid. That gap had the streets side-eyeing his story heavy. Meech tried to silence the whispers with a video directly addressing the snitching talk, but instead of clearing his name, his explanation split fans right down the middle. Some believed him, others swore he was dodging the truth. And before all that, Meech had tried to match 50 Cent's petty, but he flopped big time. He posted an old photo of himself with 50, slapped a cartoon rat holding cheese over 50's face, and captioned it, "Internet Gangster." It was supposed to be a clapback, but it backfired instantly. Instead of killing the rumors, it only fueled them, and fans weren't having it. They didn't want jokes or subliminals. They wanted Meech to face the accusations head on. But just when you thought it couldn't get any nastier, 50 got hit with something worse. His longtime rival, Rick Ross, suddenly popped up in a video with Big Meech promoting the February 13th concert. That move turned the whole situation into a straight-up war. Think about it. 50 had been holding Meech down for years, putting his son on, helping him get paid, even creating a TV show to honor his legacy. Then Meech walks out of prison, already carrying a cloud of snitch rumors, and instead of tightening up with the man who had his back, he pulls the dirtiest move possible. He links with 50's biggest enemy. And not just any enemy, but Rick Ross, the same guy who's been throwing shade at 50 for decades. The sight of Rick Ross co-signing Big Meech's concert wasn't just messy, it was like spitting in 50's face. To fans, it looked like Meech had chosen sides and he wasn't standing with the man who helped keep his name alive. Everyone knows Rick Ross was only pushing his own agenda, but the real bombshell was how 50 Cent took it. This is the same man who had been backing Lil Meech, keeping BMF alive and putting food on the table. Yet he was forced to watch Meech's father cozy up with his biggest rival. And once 50 saw how the drama was playing out, he didn't bite his tongue. He straight up threatened to cancel the BMF series altogether, the very show where Lil Meech plays his dad. That's when fans realized things had officially hit a breaking point. 50 unfollowed Lil Meech on Instagram, then twisted the knife by posting on his IG story. Lil Meech gonna be on Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. I'll give Mona Scott a call for him later today. Savage! That's the moment Lil Meech knew he couldn't sit on the fence anymore. He had to pick a side fast. Was he going to stand by his father, fresh out of prison but broke, or stay loyal to 50, the man funding his career and future? Then came the receipts. 50 himself leaked a DM from Lil Meech that shook the internet. In the message, Lil Meech was basically dissing his own father and Rick Ross while practically begging 50 not to pull the plug on BMF. Here's what it said. They just told me you unfollowed me off Instagram and now you managed to skill a baby with Rocket. When I brought him around you first, you didn't even know who he was. Now you mad at me, I would take the shirt off my back for you. I can't believe this, man. You act like I'm your enemy. I've only ever shown you love and loyalty. I go through my own stuff, but I never switched up on you. F. Ross. But he gave my dad some bread so he could pay his bills until our next season starts. This internet is throwing me off, man. You know me in real life. That DM exposed just how deep this war had gotten, not just between 50 and Big Meech, but right down to the family bloodline. Lil Meech tried to defend himself, but the pressure was crushing him from all sides. He addressed his father's link up with Rick Ross, making it clear where he stood, saying, F. Ross. But he gave my dad a bread so he can afford to pay his bills until our next season starts. This internet is just throwing me off, man. You know me in real life. He thought that would settle things, but instead it only made the drama worse. 50 Cent wasn't moved one bit. He clapped back with an ice-cold response that shook the internet. What next season? Lil Ninja. And let's be real, that wasn't just a reply, that was a dagger to the chest. Fans instantly knew this beef had gone from petty to personal, and Lil Meech was the one paying the highest price, all because of his dad's moves. The saddest part? Lil Meech is the one taking the hit, not Big Meech. The kid who was supposed to be building his career off the BMF series was suddenly getting dragged into his father's street politics. A lot of people questioned why 50 had to go that hard, but his message was clear. He wanted Big Meech to feel it. And there's another layer too. Some say Lil Meech dissing his own father in those leaked DMs actually backfired on him. Instead of making him look loyal to 50, it may have made 50 think, if you can turn on your pops this quick, how do I know you won't flip on me? And we can't forget, 50 has been here before. His own son, Marquise, flipped on him years ago, cozying up with Supreme McGriff's son in 2018, and that betrayal cut deep. Now, watching Lil Meech seemingly throw his father under the bus, 50 probably feels history is repeating itself. In a recent clip making rounds online, fans pointed out how defeated Lil Meech looked, and honestly, who could blame him? He's caught in the crossfire of two heavyweights, and his future is hanging in the balance. Not only did Lil Meech's private DM with 50 leak for the whole world to see, but it also did nothing to change 50's mind about pulling the plug on the BMF series. Meanwhile, Boosie jumped online and started clowning Lil Meech heavy, accusing him of trying to suck up to 50. In Boosie's own words, he didn't hold back one bit. But 50 wasn't about to let Boosie get the last laugh. He clapped back, saying, I did more for Lil Meech than anyone in his life, Boosie. That's why he responded like that. If he gets locked up, I'm the first person he calls to bail him out. Every time. When I saw him laughing at his Pops post, I said, oh ish. He's a snake too, belongs with him. That response set the tone. 50 was making it crystal clear who he trusted and who he didn't. And now that Boosie has officially picked his side, it looks like he just signed himself up as 50's next enemy, joining Rick Ross on the list of lifelong rivals. But let's keep it real. Nobody's snatching Ross's crown as 50's #1 op. Fans, however, are split right down the middle on this one. Some say 50 has every right to be petty and go after anyone siding with his enemies. Others argue he's taking it too far, dragging a 24-year-old into beef that should have stayed between him and Big Meech. And to make it even messier, people are now calling 50 a full-blown bully, saying he's not just pressing Lil Meech but also Boosie at the same time. So here's the question. Do you think 50 Cent is justified in going this hard at Big Meech and everyone in his circle? Or is Lil Meech just catching strays and paying the price for his father's fallout with 50? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button, tap the like, and turn on the notification bell because you don't want to miss out on all this celebrity drama.